Morning. This is Nita and Miss Panda with a Timepiece Garden. And parts are on order for the DR trimmer, but it's not here yet. So what are we gonna do? Little things. I'm gonna start with getting the rock and that debris and stuff that's over here on the hill, get it gone. So I'm not having to mow or edge around it all winter long. It cannot stay where it is. It's got to go somewhere. And then I will probably work on moving the last of the compost into the raised bed and the last of that little bit of dirt and the last of the rabbit manure that I have into that last raised bed, even though I'm not going to move the, what are they? The mulberries, because it's not time yet. They need to go to sleep where they're at and then wake up in the new place. But I can get rid of all of that little stuff as well. There's Miss Panda up here. There's Miss Panda up here. I said girlfriend. Sorry. Almost put the Jeep in the picture. Not trying to do it. So, anyway. Setting my stuff down. I'm going to go get the Gorilla Cart and the rake and the shovel. And just, we're going to start with cleaning that mess up. That's just where we're starting. It'll be the first place in the sun. Let's go ahead and get it taken care of first. Alright. Talk to you in a few. Alrighty, so that's my big rock. I've talked about this, I think, once before in one of the videos, that this hill tends to, every time it rains, slough down and block the door for the pump house. And I want to take the rock and kind of set it up here, you know, way far outside the door, but enough that it blocks the dirt from doing that. I'm not doing that today. That was not today's plan, but the rock is down here because I'm at fall, and I'm going to have to get in here and, you know, dig the grass back and dig all this stuff back and put the rock into place so I can get it into the door and make sure that the my heat lamp in there is doing good and the cords aren't frayed. And I mean, there's just a bunch of stuff I got to do, and this will be probably a whole day project when I do it. I don't know if you can see it, but the left side, I don't even know what you want to call it. The plastic stuff that they put up that looks like tin that is garbage is bowed out, and that probably means I have grass and stuff growing behind it. I don't need the grass growing back there. I don't need it to rot the wood. I have got some true tin back by the shed that I knew I was going to put on the door, and at least on this left side here, because when I try and edge and trim, I bust the bottom and the grass grows up there even more. It's a mess. So this will be a whole day project when I actually get to doing this. It's just, you know, kind of upgrading it, making it so I can get in and out the door whenever I feel like it, put the rock into place so it stops the dirt from going down the hill right there at the door, fix the siding, get rid of the wood off of that side. It's just, that'll be a whole day project. I know that. But anyway, the rock is here. It will piss me off because now I have to edge around it here. I'll get it done. This will be a good early fall, late fall, pre-winter workout. That's what that is. All right, having said that, piles up here clear. You can see where I got kind of a dirt patch there and a dirt patch there. Yeah, that's where this side over here was mostly wood pieces and chips and bark, and that over there was some wood chips, but a lot of garbage, and that's where Panda was digging because a critter thought it needed to be here. So all the good wood and or wood chips is all here in the Gorilla Cart. And again, you can see a lot of it's chips. This is all going to be great hugelkultur in the bed where the mulberries are going to go. The smaller chips that had the grass and the weeds, and my shadow's in the way. Anyway, it's all just been kind of raked here on the hill. You know, I don't need that in the garden. I don't need to fight more weeds than are already present in the dirt. That little bit of dirt that I have left. All right, let me go get busy. I'll take you along for the ride. All right, we're going to take a quick lesson, a quick break. We know that the 3 mulberries are going in this bed. We know I have a little bit of soil, and it's not enough for the entire bed. I've got a little bit of compost left and a little bit of rabbit manure left. So the goal is to measure out now where the 3 mulberries are going to go. Take my 5-gallon buckets, and when I mix the soil and the compost and the mulch together, does that make sense? set those buckets where the trees are going to be. So when I plant the trees, does that make sense? They're guaranteed to have some good soil around that root ball. You know, so when they wake up in spring, they're going to be like, oh, this is awesome. You know, and then I can just throw the rest of the dirt and throw the rest of the compost in the bed as necessary. That's also going to allow me, if I put the barrels in it right now empty, that makes sense, when I lay the bark and stuff down here as the hugelkultur, it's not going to be in the way. I'm not going to have to move it once I've put it in there, because it won't be in the way when I move the trees. So that's the goal. Panda's in here chasing something. Probably a cricket, grasshopper. Yep, grasshopper. Huh, she's so silly. All right, anyway, let me get started and talk to you in a few. All right, so just a vague, you know, I won't lie, it's measured out. The buckets are roughly, you know, within a foot of where they're supposed to be, where the tree's supposed to be. Now they can move left or right that way a little, but across the long portion, that's where they're supposed to be. So I'll be able to take the compost, the dirt, and the rabbit manure, get it mixed together, fill each of the buckets. That makes sense, just fill them full. And that way there is a bucket of good dirt where I'm gonna plant the tree. And then in between that, I can get the other dirt and get the rocks out of it, so on down the line, and just lay piles of it here and there. You know, a pile at the end, 2 or 3 piles here. So the tree gets good dirt, and other dirt that doesn't necessarily have compost in it or rabbit manure, because I don't have enough, it makes sense, goes in the rest of this bed. Again, not a huge deal. I'm putting baby trees in there and probably clover. So the baby trees will wake up to awesomeness, and the clover will help regenerate the soil. That's why all these wood chip bark stuff is also in here. So, all right, let me go get the last of the compost out of the compost bin. And then, like I said, I'll mix it with the dirt and the last of my dirt and the rabbit manure, and that way I can fix the compost area, at least the first side of it. I can start mowing here regularly, because I won't have any more dirt here, and I can get rid of the bag that's holding the rabbit manure in it out of the garden space, because I don't need it back here anymore. That's the plan. All right, talk to you in a few. So again, you can see that I don't have a lot of compost left here. Used to come all the way up here. You can see where the grass ends and the dirt begins. That's all been in the garden already, but I do have compost. Not a lot, enough to mix with the dirt. Again, fill the buckets. It's the right thing to do with that. Having said that, all of these logs get to come out. They become part of the hugelkultur. I mean, it's just specifically around the mulberries. That's why I have to mark, or did mark, where the buckets are, so I know where not to stick these pieces of wood. Do you know? I need to give myself plenty of room to do the dirt thing. Alrighty. So let me get to work. Again, I'm going to get the compost out first, mix it with the soil, rabbit manure, fill the buckets, and then I'll probably come back and do logs. Start on this side, you know, kind of work in, figure out how wide a pallet is, get it stuck where I need it stuck. I mean, just all kinds of, I have stuff to do. Yeah. And then decide whether or not I'm going to move the compost here into the new bin, or leave it there, use it next year, and build the second bin next year. I've not decided. I do know that I have to get my logs out. Does that make sense? But once I get one side done, I should be able to pull the logs out with no issue. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll talk about that more when I get to that point. I'm not there. Right now, we're moving compost. All right. Talk to you in a few. Alrighty. As much as I want to jump in and do the compost pile right now, the answer is no. It's half a gorilla cart. I've already taken a full cart worth of compost over there. This is empty for the most part. Must do the buckets first, because that way they're done. The soil's ready. When it's time to move the mulberries, I'll be able to move them appropriately with good soil, you know, and just do the whole thing at one time. If I finish that and it's still cool enough for me to work, then I will probably start moving logs, you know. And then I'm gonna focus in. Those are those 2 big 4x4s that are sitting here at the back of the compost. And I don't know if they were pressure treated or heat treated or chemically treated, but you can look at them. They've not decayed at all. And that's why I want to take them out of the compost pile area. Use the pallets, use these guys to build my next wood stack. That's what I'm gonna do. And I'm sure when they don't have compost laying up against them, they're just gonna last for a really long time. All right, let me get done. Let me go dump this, start wood, compost and manure stuff, and you'll either see more of that, and maybe this, or just more of that. We'll see. All right, talk to you in a few.